Hey everyone, and welcome to 121 in Flux. I am Peter, that is Connor. We talk about movies on this show. We talk about older movies, typically. And by older, I just mean not a new release. So it could be a year old, could be 10 years old, could be 50 years old. This particular film is 14 years old, which actually makes me feel kind of old myself, because I remember this coming out. I remember being excited, hoping that this would be a good movie, because it had been so long since an Alien film. It had been even... I never seen it. Like, a Predator movie never came out. I mean, it came out in my lifetime, Predator 2, but like I was like 2 or something like that.
Just about.
Yeah, like, you know, I wasn't aware of it. I didn't know about it, but I'd grown up watching Predator and Predator 2. This was the first chance I ever had to see a Predator movie of some kind in the theatre. So that's where I came into this. So this is Alien vs Predator. This is AVP. Of course, we are doing this because we're working our way through the Predator franchise before the new film comes out later in the year. And of course, we did all the Alien films last year, but we left the AVP movies for Predator since Predator has less movies. So it evened them both out to about 5 movies each. So here we are, AVP, Alien vs Predator. We'll start spoiler free as we always do. We'll give you a warning before we go into spoilers somewhere in the middle. But this is what we're going to talk about. So... it's aliens, it's predators, it's Lance Henriksen. And honestly, this movie has the best tagline in the history of films because it is so true. The tagline to this film is whoever wins, we lose.
Yeah. Yeah. You said there it's aliens, it's predators. I wanted to jump in with just it's shite.
Don't hold back, Car. How do you feel?
Oh, I mean, this movie put me to sleep. I literally fell asleep watching this shite.
Which is why it's late. Like, if you're a patron and you get these a week early, normally these are up early on a Friday. We are recording this later on a Friday because Connor... we were supposed to record this 3 days ago. It took Connor 3 nights to get through this... 3 nights in the morning to get through this movie.
No, I'm not gonna lie, I had to watch the rest of this before I went to work this morning. And all I wanted to do, I wanted to watch some football. World Cup's on. I thought I could watch the first, half a game.
I'd rather watch AVP, but yeah, continue.
And I was like, I suppose I should finish this shite movie. And it just put me in a miserable mood to go to work. Yeah, I went to, it was a nice day. I got a nice walk to work. It's fine. And I went in miserable because of this. This is not how you should start your day, people.
So I think we'll talk a lot about why it doesn't succeed. As it is a film, but even just in the sense of a promise of what an Alien vs Predator movie should be. And as someone who's read some of the comics, I hadn't at the time when this came out, but you know, since then I've read some Alien comics, I've read some Predator comics, and lo and behold, I've read some Alien vs Predator comics. Not all of them are like, you know, a vast amount, but you know, enough that enough that I have read good Alien vs Predator content, and therefore know it can be pulled off.
Yeah, enough to know that the concept of just Alien versus Predator alone
it's not bad.
Have to be shot.
Yes,
yeah.
It's not a bad idea in and of itself. So the premise of this is that Wayland, not Weyland-Yutani, they're not merged yet, just Wayland, one of his satellites has spotted a pyramid underneath Antarctica. Or was it the Arctic? Which one was it? I can't remember.
One of the cold bastards.
One of the poles. One of the poles. I think it was in Antarctica, but whatever.
Those penguins. Which one are penguins at? They're only in one of them, aren't they?
I think it's Antarctica. But I don't know. It's 50-50. I never remember.
And I'm not sure I trust this movie to be accurate with which...
But
with
polar
penguins.
bears are at both, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Because I know one of them's only at one, but the other animal you associate is at both.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure penguins are only at one.
Right, okay. Alright. This is what you came here for, folks.
But like I said, I don't trust this movie to have actually, known that. They could have just put penguins to the other one.
That's true. I wouldn't trust this movie to know that penguins aren't supposed to be there if that's where we are. But yeah. Anyway, so find this pyramid. He sends out Colin Salmon to collect an elite team of specialists. Yeah. Someone who's good at survival and climbing and terrain. Someone who's good at I don't know, history and translating and transcribing, that kind of thing.
It's a bit of everything.
Yeah, so some people who, of course, he's got like a team of soldiers who can take care of them should anything arise. A team of experts in different fields that you would require for a bit of extreme excavating, I suppose we'll call it.
Yeah,
some tomb raiding.
I was just gonna say it's tomb raiding, just
Yes.
done to an extreme scale.
So, sure enough, they end up going. There's a little bit of drama at the first one. Will the main character decide to go or not? She doesn't want to go. Well, more on that later. But they get to the pyramid, and of course, this is a pyramid that was built or either by or for the predators, who have been coming to Earth and using this as like a training ground. And they hatch aliens inside this pyramid, and then they fight the aliens as a rite of passage. That's the premise of the film. And of course, our human beings get trapped in here with with aliens and predators, and violence and shenanigans ensues. Not brutal violence, because this is PG-13, unlike every other Predator and Alien movie before it. So it's neutered, and it feels neutered.
Shows, yeah.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the awful CG at points.
At points, there's some pretty bad CG, yes. It's not all terrible, but there's some pretty rough bits.
And you can tell this is in a post-Matrix world because of all the slow-mo.
there's a lot of slow-mo facehuggers flying towards people in slow-motion bullet time.
Yeah. You can tell this is post-Matrix. And recent post-Matrix.
Yes. We should point out that this is directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, the bastard... You heard me right. The bastard behind most of the Resident Evil films. If not, he directed most of them. He's written, I think, all of them. Him and his stupid wife ruining my entire love of a franchise. How dare they?
Say, which do you take more personally? Ruining Alien and Predator or ruining Resident Evil?
At least Alien and Predator had good movies before this.
That's Resident Evil. You still got the games.
I do, but like
except a couple of them.
I think Resident Evil hurts way more because there's so many people who have never played the games who think that's what it is. They think Resident Evil's Alice, like doing fly kicks off of a wall.
Yeah. No one thinks this is what an Alien movie is or what a Predator movie is.
Exactly. Paul W.S. Anderson is a horrible director who made a passably fun movie in Mortal Kombat, and it's all been downhill. Since then.
Not a good movie though, is it? Mortal Kombat.
It's not good, but I enjoy it for what it is.
That's fair enough, but still distinctly not a good movie.
Yes, this is all the hallmarks, and the reason why this is such a fun thing to critique, I think, as a movie, is because we actually have Alien and Predator movies made by much better directors to compare it to. So I think this is actually a really good movie at using film school and sort of show, okay, this is how a good director did suspense and did tension and filmed the build up to a scene like this, and this is how a bad director did it, with none of the tact, with none of the skill, with none of the nuance. Just the boom, 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 here it is as quickly as humanly possible. Remember how in Alien, when it took a day of the facehugger being on the person, John Hurt, he's got the facehugger on for a whole day, and then the alien took another full day to grow to full size. It was a long period. It may have even been longer than that. I'm just ballparking it from memory, right? But it was a long time. It was a long stretch of him lying there with the facehugger on, and then there was a long stretch before the alien started attacking them. In this movie, they chest burst within about a scene of being face hugged, and there's no time passage between this. It's it's just in real time. It's maybe 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
Right, and then we have full size aliens within another 10 minutes. That is the duration of how much the aliens. If I was going to try and explain it, I'd say, oh well, because these are for hunting grounds, they're genetically modified by the predators to go quicker. I mean that's bullshit, but I'm just
bullshit.
I'm throwing something out there to try and explain it.
Do you know what really bothers me about that bullshit explanation?
Okay, go on.
I'm not giving you shit here because it is the best you can come up with, because it's what I went to as well as, can I justify this? And the answer is no, because they're still, they're there to prove themselves. They can wait a couple of days. They don't need to make them go any quicker.
They could also just hatch the eggs with the sacrificial people a day before they arrive or something.
Right, exactly. just hatch the egg. Start the ceremony, right? Have that be part of the ceremony still, if that's your thing.
I mean, actually, you could argue that was the plan, is that they don't intend in fighting right away. They only rush in because the humans are in causing chaos. That doesn't explain why it happened so quickly, but you could argue at least that the predators were planning on letting them have a day to
that's, I think that's the point, is you start the process, you wait for it to get to full size, because there's no glory in killing one just that's, half grown, right, for a predator. Mm-hmm. You got to wait till it's, at full strength to take you on.
Yep.
So you don't need to genetically engineer it to be any quicker.
So, I'm not going to talk about any more about plot until spoilers. I just want to, in general terms, right? So, I'll allude to a couple of things. We've alluded to the fact that the tension, the suspense, all of that is just not there. This is a director who doesn't know how to accomplish any of those things. Things just happen very quickly, with no build-up. You can tell that it's trying to copy Aliens at the start, when it like introduces all the characters. It's like, oh, here's all the characters. Here's the short-haired blonde with the gun.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's the foreign dude who gets angry at the Scottish guy, and the Scottish guy who really cares about his kids, but he's really annoying and really bad at acting.
It feels like in structure and pacing, it's doing it very badly, but it's trying to copy Alien.
Yes,
in that
but it's worth
Alien goes a long time without anything happening. Right?
No, it does. That's what it's worth mentioning. They step into the pyramid at about the 20-minute mark in this movie. In Aliens, they're not on that planet until like the 45-minute mark.
Right. But what I was going to say is they try and pace it out because the aliens and the predators don't have their meeting till about an hour. I think it's almost
Something
dead
like
on
that.
an hour.
Close to that, maybe, yeah.
Because I think it's almost around the hour mark where you have their first meeting, and it's so that's kind of feels like okay, they tried to do what Alien did by hold off the big moment, but it just doesn't have anything to it because the stuff before it's not filling it with anything important. It's just fluff.
It's just fluff. It's trying to like give all these characters little beats without actually having any of them have any kind of arc. They're really stupid as well as far as like not scientists necessarily, but they basically get themselves trapped inside by doing something that the expert says no, don't do that, and then they do it anyway. And oh no, now we're all trapped. And that's the other thing. This is my big problem. I think my first fundamental problem with this, even before we get to the fact that it's PG-13, like that's shit. And I want any Predator and Alien movie should be R-rated. But I could live with a really well-made PG-13 movie, right? If that's what it was.
That doesn't mean it's going to be a bad movie,
right? My biggest problem is you tell me we're going to do an Alien versus Predator movie. My first problem is that it's set in a pyramid that has shifting traps like it's an Indiana Jones movie, and half the deaths are like falling down crevices and like walls closing in on them. Like, what is this? I didn't come to an Alien vs Predator movie for this shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that can be a good movie. See Indiana Jones, but that's not this movie. It's not what this is supposed to be.
It feels so out of place. It's such a weird setting for it, and like, why is it set present day? Why is it not in the future? Because here's the thing: the comics all have a third thing, right? They have aliens, they have predators, and they have colonial marines. We have no colonial marines in this because we're not in the future.
No, I was going to say, why is it even on Earth?
That's also a fair statement.
Other than just, well, we need some human characters, and we can't be bothered writing a reason why they'll be somewhere else.
Which is, well, that's a
bizarre because they just are, right?
Yeah, because Alien already established that there's humans everywhere, all over the galaxy.
It feels like here, it's like, well, we can't be bothered. Just throw on Earth.
And can you believe this is the first movie with an alien on Earth?
Yeah.
This is the movie that got to do that.
I know. Disgraceful, isn't it?
It also like just, it feels like there's hardly anything like the actual fights between the predators and the aliens are kind of like lackluster. There's only a couple of scenes really. When you really get down to it, there's one fun idea with what to do in this movie, but obviously this movie squanders it by barely doing anything like that.
These scenes, there's the fights that they're not that much, but they go on for a long time. Like let's say it's about an hour when they first meet. There's maybe 40 minutes of the movie after that, and probably half of that is just like there's at least one fight that's good like 10-15 minutes. Just one of those is where I fell asleep because I just got bored of this fight that just there's nothing interesting happening.
Yeah, I mean it's just a director who doesn't know how to do this is my basic explanation for it. It's a director, and he also wrote the script. It's worth mentioning. It's a writer-director.
It's entirely him to blame.
Yeah, it's entirely on him. This is garbage. That said, it is mediocre, watchable garbage in comparison to the second one.
I'm dreading that because I really didn't like this one. Clearly.
Oh, just you wait.
I'm gonna have to get a goddamn energy drink in for the next one because unless that one is so bad that I am just in awe of the awfulness, whereas this one I just got bored.
I only saw it once soon after it came out, so I can't remember how much in awe I was or you'd be. Especially since, I'm a completely different age now. When that came out, it was what? I was like 16, 17 maybe when I saw that.
Yeah.
Times have changed, so I mean, maybe even my reaction to it, I barely remember it. All I remember thinking is how are even the daytime scenes too dark. But
am I gonna have to turn the brightness up on my screen just to be able to see anything?
you might. And Joe, the annoying part is the plot for 2. When I heard it beforehand, thought, oh, that sounds amazing. This is perfect. Like, the plot of 2 is one predator comes to Earth to hunt down an alien, a rogue alien that's causing chaos. I'm like, yes, sign me up.
Yeah, sure. In premise alone, yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
premise.
I know it's a shite movie, but in premise, I'm like, yeah, I want to watch that.
I had reason to hope before that came out. Unfortunately, the brothers who directed the Strauss brothers, I think, were their names. I can't remember. We'll find out when we get to it. But complete ineptitude. That's all I'm saying. So we have an adventure tomb with traps. Is a good chunk of the movie. Yeah, it's a good chunk of the movie. That's what it is. And then conveniently, all that seems to go away almost once the aliens and predators start coming into play.
Yeah, I thought the fun part. Not the fun part. I thought the reason they were establishing all this was that we can use the traps against the alien and the predators. I thought that's where it was going. I was clearly giving them too much credit, and they just needed something to fill the time.
No, not that at all. Now, of course, we should talk about the fact that we have Lance Henriksen in the movie as Wayland, which, of course, was established in Alien 3, where he showed up as a human being, alive in Alien 3.
In the future.
And that's at least a couple of 100 years away. And he's here, and the plot of this movie is that he's dying. And not only is he dying from a sickness, okay, spoilers, full spoilers now for Alien vs. Predator. Yeah. Right, I'm doing it now. He dies in the movie. He gets killed.
Yeah, I mean, my best assumption then is, so, the Alien 3 one's a clone?
I guess. I don't think
that's the best I've got. Assuming this has to count as canon, which I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, no. I'm discounting it. It's fine. Yeah. But, yeah, they didn't think about this. They just wanted Lance Henriksen. They wanted someone from the previous movies, even though it made no goddamn sense.
Nothing.
Here's Wayland.
Which, again, is, if you want that, why not set it in the future, right? You've established him in the future. Just go. Oh yeah, sure.
I would say it was to save money, but they started to build all these sets for the pyramids. So like,
yeah. You'd say it's so they can just use Earth looking like Earth, right?
But
yeah. They're never out in a city. She's on a cliff side at the start, and then she gets helicoptered to their base, and then they go underground.
The sort of the main guy who should be friends, the translator. He starts off in a tent. That is like the most Earth-like location, because once they get to the Antarctica, all of it has to be a visual effect. They can't if there's any filming in a place like that, it's going to be very limited.
Yeah.
So we're using effects anyway. The pyramid's all effects. It's all, well, not effects, but it's a set.
It's built. Yeah, they built it, which is the point.
And it's surrounded by green screen for the rest of it. So it makes no difference. It's the same cost of setting it on a space station or whatever.
It doesn't make any sense, does it? You might as well have built a space station.
I don't know. It's a bizarre. It's one of those things where I don't understand why the choices were made.
That is, I think, the worst part. Is there are times when things are bad, but I can go, at least I understand why they made that choice, even if it was the wrong choice. I can understand the logic of what they were thinking at the time.
Yes.
Maybe sometimes it's a fine idea, they just don't pull it off. Sometimes it was just the wrong idea. This, I don't understand why anyone thought, yeah, that makes sense. That'll save us time, money, anything. It doesn't have any benefit.
I mean, I guess he wanted to put his own stamp on the mythology and say, oh, this has been going on, well, they've got this pyramid in it. They come and hunt aliens under the earth, or, well, they wasn't under the earth when they started it, but, they come and hunt aliens on this pyramid on Earth. I don't know, it murkies up the mythology of the Predators.
And this is what I don't get. why does that have to be Earth? It doesn't even have to, say you still want a pyramid, right? Say just do a pyramid on a different planet and be like, predators came here and did it, and you can play with the idea, because this plays here, it tells us that, the predators taught humans a lot of things, like with their culture and design. Like, they kind of raised humans up a little bit.
Yeah, also, can I call bullshit? Like, they try and explain that all the writing in this place is like a combination of 3 ancient languages, which the interpreters understand.
Yeah.
But there's points where he's flat out reading like paragraphs and paragraphs of exposition as if it's easy, and I was just, this is bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
you're just explaining so much through this text. It's so lazy. It's so lazy and easy.
It is, but what what I'm getting at here is, like, why play with the idea that no, there are pyramids on another planet. Maybe we got the idea.
No pyramids. I hate the whole idea.
No, but I do as well. But even if you insist on having a pyramid, right? Do it on another planet in the future, and then you can play with the idea of, oh, okay, if there are pyramids here as well, and we have pyramids, did we get the pyramids from them? Did they, did their culture infect us? Like in some way, did we learn from that? And there's ideas there that you can play with. This is just just screw it. Earth will do.
Yep. Also, the characters are cardboard cutouts. So there's nothing to remember any of them by.
Old characters.
I couldn't tell you any names other than Wayland because he's a character from the other movies.
Yeah, you got Wayland, and then you got Colin Salmon.
You got Colin Salmon. Yes. The rest are all just described by their hair, their accents, or whatever. Like that's who they are. Here's the idea, and this is an obvious idea that I'm sure has been done in the comics, right? But the main idea that could have led to something, right, is the idea that the remaining predator and the remaining human team up because they're both intelligent creatures and they're going to take on the aliens together. They're going to team up for survival. And I like the small bit of okay, I'm going to cut off this alien's head because it's a shield for the acid, right? Because the acid is a big deal, but their own skin can block it. So he cuts out the head off and gives it as a shield, and then a spear.
Yeah, from the tail, right?
And I'm like, oh, okay, and that can pierce their skin, the tail, because it's their thing. And I'm like, oh, right, okay, these are nice ideas. But we get to the point where she saved him twice, and he's ready to carve his little symbol into her, and she's like, oh, honorable warrior, we are bound for life. So there's very little that actually happens with them working together after that. Once they have joined forces. Yeah,
it almost feels like there was no point to it other than, oh well, we need an ending.
Well, I disagree with that. I think there's a point to it. They just don't bother doing the point.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I mean by that. There's no point to it in this movie because they don't justify, they don't do anything with it. So why bother?
Well, how else did they end it then?
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. I think the only reason they do it is because they had the ending in mind and they went, oh well, we need that, so that's how we get there. It doesn't actually justify doing it with. It doesn't do anything with them being together.
To me, that doesn't mean it's no point. It means they just don't fulfill the point that it has.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Which is maybe semantics, but I don't know. It feels weird to say that. That's not, to me, that's the most interesting thing in the whole goddamn movie is the idea of the predator and the alien, or the alien, the predator and the human teaming up. That's the most interesting goddamn thing, and it's squandered. That's what your movie should be revolving around: the idea that the predator comes to respect the human. Because we've seen, because that's kind of from Predator 2, the idea that they respect you once you've won.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting at here. Is when I say there's no point, is there was no point in this movie doing it because it didn't do anything with that idea. So what?
But you
was
can say that about the whole movie. Nothing in the
mean,
movie has a point then, but that logic.
No, that's fair. But the point, my point here is that was a good idea, so it hurts more, I guess.
Which means it's the only thing in the movie that has a point.
Should have a point. It should have a point, but it doesn't.
Well, sure, but it's the most pointy of the whole movie.
I mean, sure.
The rest of the movie, the stakes have not been whittled, but this one, the stakes been whittled.
No, yeah, okay. This really does feel like semantics at this point, though.
Stakes are used to kill vampires. Like the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I tried to brush past it. I'm sorry, people.
I can do it. So easy. So easy. Anyway, so, I mean, where do we go here? The deaths are lackluster, of course. Characters get locked in a room with facehugger eggs. And almost immediately, it's like, oh, what did you say this place was called again? He's like, Sacrificial Chamber. And then, the facehuggers are flying through the air in a slow motion, and there's all these things. It's so over the top. It's so cheesy. There's no skill in how it moves from scene to scene, or how it sets up its beats. Things just happen. Like, characters just die instantly. One of the big things that really bugged me, actually, is the opening scene of the movie. It's almost like a really bad TV show with a cold open, where there's a scene of like a guy running around like the buildings up in the abandoned town near the entrance of the pyramid, and we just see the predator vision, and we see the laser, and then like in the heat vision, the alien jumps at the camera, and this is like 2 frames. There's like a split second of a thing that happens, and that's when it like goes to the the AVP title, and I'm like, okay, so you just gave me the laser dots, you gave me the infrared, you gave me all these things that I recognize immediately in the opening scene without any kind of build up to it. It just happened.
I think that's the one of the biggest problems with this movie is that it goes, hey, we're using aliens and predators. People like these. We don't need to do anything else. We just show them shit. We just show them these things, and and they'll come, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, we've got a queen, because of course there's a queen in this movie. That's what we got, a boss fight at the end. Funny enough, Paul W.S. Anderson's done a couple of video game movies. Like he's basically turned this into a video game, the way it plays out.
It does actually, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, we have the main character, say that or at least she starts to say, "You're one ugly mother effer," but she gets cut off because it's
PG-13.
Because it's PG-13, and she says it to an alien, and I get that she's befriended the predator at this point. I think what would have been way funnier is when they get up top and he takes off the mask when he wants to respect her.
She says it anyway.
And she says it anyway, but with like a smirk in her face, like there's like a friendly
it's almost banter.
Yes. Like, that would have been a way funnier usage of it. But no, of course, that would actually require some I don't know.
Some thought.
Some thought. That would require doing something other than just the obvious thing and the most, there's no twist to anything in this movie. Everything plays out just completely straight. Sure, some of the ideas are weird, like why are we in a pyramid? Sure, but other than that, it just plays completely straight. Everything you think's probably going to happen, happens.
Which says that it just rests on being part of these franchises, because it's like, hey, we've got aliens, we'll do some acid, we'll do some facehuggers, we'll do some chest bursting, we got predators, we'll do the dots, we'll do the visions, we're good, we don't need anything else.
Pretty much. I mean, Alien Queen chases them up the ice chute.
Yeah.
We get to the top, we get the Alien Queen chasing them through the abandoned town, with her sort of running away and the predator jumping in. And you know what? That was actually, again, one of the things I liked in the entire movie, is that one shot of the predator sort of jumping in slow motion. Not even slow motion, actually. It's just the alien queen's like sort of like try to get at her with the head shooting out, and there's a shot looking up at the alien queen, and you just see the predator jumping in from behind and with his spear. I thought it was a nice shot. Like I'll give
Yeah. No. Okay. I can't fault that.
Yeah, it was just the way the predator kind of jumps in out of frame and just into frame and throws his spear. I just thought okay,
it didn't really stick out to me, but I think I was kind of just bored at that point.
It's a fine action shot, is all I'm saying.
I can't have a problem with it.
I mean, I think all the praise I'm going to give to this movie has been given, and they're kind of lukewarm at best. I mean,
the score's all right.
Oh, I didn't like the score.
Do you not?
No, because for me it felt like we want to harken back to Alien and Predator, but we don't actually want to just actually do any of the themes, so it's these weird knockoff versions almost.
No, that's fair. I thought it was okay. It was well put together.
It's just one of those things that bugs me, where they make it sound similar, but they don't just do it, and that really gets. Cause I keep waiting for it. I keep waiting for it to go into it. Okay, the Predator theme's going to hit, and it just never did.
Okay, that doesn't bother me personally.
It's blue balling.
Yeah. It's not that unique or original a score, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was reasonably put together. It does its job.
Okay, I suppose.
It functions, unlike most of the movie.
For example, our main character, Alexa. She, I had to check that there because I didn't remember her name.
So it was that bad that I was like, is that a name? And had to double check for myself after I'd seen you check.
Yes, Alexa, or Ripley.
Yeah.
She at the start of the movie doesn't want to come. When she finds out that they're rushing all this, she's like, no, this is unsafe. You know, this takes time to prepare. I have to train all the crew that are going because I've never done this type of traveling before. And she's going to leave, and then like some of them that she's been friendly with kind of convince her, hey, you should stay. If we get better chances with you than this other guy they're calling in, and then she decides to stay. What does that accomplish in the rest of the film? This whole she's not going to go and then she decides to go. What does that actually do for her character for the rest of the film?
Nothing. I think, if you're going to insist on having that beat at the start, the payoff is that she regrets it at the end, right? Later on, she has a moment of, I shouldn't have come. Maybe I should have gone with my gut. Right?
Maybe. I'll even find that satisfying, to be honest.
No, but at least there's something. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying at least it has a purpose there.
Well, I think the purpose is supposed to be that because we know it's an Alien and Predator movie, she is right not to go. So it tells us that she's a smart character, so we're supposed to like her more because of that.
Yeah,
I think that's what the point is supposed to be.
Do you know what the problem is here? It doesn't make her a smart character because she doesn't know there's aliens and predators. She's not avoiding it for those reasons. She's avoiding it because of the natural dangers, which is justifiable, I guess. But
I'm just saying, I think that's what the point of it is. I think the point is that no, she's right to think this is being hasty, because you could argue that it's their hastiness that gets them all in trouble, because the hastiness to take those predator guns when they find them and to rush in and do all these things, that's what really gets them in bother. That said, which by the way, like they treat the predators like at one point where they see that Whalen's sick, so they don't kill him, right? As if we're going with the whole, they have like a code of honor. But everyone else they encounter just gets wiped out immediately. There's the guy frozen. The guy goes down the big ice chute that's been cut. Because it's the predators who cut this, by the way. There's a big big tunnel that's been like just sort of beamed into the ice.
And our dude's like, hey, this wasn't here yesterday. I was gonna try, but this is way better than our technology. This is decades ahead of our technology.
Let's just ignore that and go down anyway.
Exactly.
That's what happens. So, but so that's one guy who survives up top, because all the guys that are left up top all get wiped out by the predators, and he's lying there and he's like frozen. He's covered in ice, and I'm like, oh, it's hiding his temperature. It's like the mud in the first movies. He's covered in ice, right? And he watches the predators just walking past, and then he turns his head and he sees this other predator and he just kills him, even though he's lying there unarmed. I thought the point of the scene is that they couldn't see that he was there. No, they can. We can see him just fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like just so much. It was like whatever suits the scene. Like that's why the alien cycles, the life cycle sped up, because it suits the plot that for some reason Paul W.S. Anderson was determined that he wanted to do, that he wanted to tell. And instead of actually going through the script and saying, oh, this doesn't work, let's try and rework it and make it work, he just went, no, we'll just brush past everything that doesn't make it work, and that'll do.
No, it really does feel like it's like, we'll make it work. It'll be fine.
He is the director of that'll do. That is his mantra.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, that'll do.
And we don't care about any of these characters, not one bit. Like I can't even remember how half of them die at this point, to be honest.
I can't either. But Joe is particularly amusing to me. At the start of this movie, I'm like, okay, they're all a bunch of nobodies. How are these people going to survive against an alien and a predator? Like, even assuming there's one of each, right? I'm like, okay, this is a movie with aliens and predators. How do these people survive against that? Because, I mean, think about the other movies. You've got Marines. Ripley survived in the first one, but kind of by a lot of luck and circumstance.
She scrapes out by the skin of her teeth,
but barely. And that's against.
That's what by skin of your teeth means.
Yeah,
Connor.
yeah, that's what I mean. I'm saying I'm agreeing. I wasn't contradicting. I was agreeing. I'm like, yeah, it's barely, and that's one alien. And this here, I'm like, okay, so you've got a group of nobodies who are going presumably against an alien and a predator at the minimum. What? How are any of these people going to survive? And
that never even occurred to me, because I just figured that wasn't the point of the movie.
Right, but I was just like, how are any of them going to do anything useful in this circumstance, except just be fodder? And that's ultimately what most of them are. They're there just to die. And I mean, you can say that about other, like alien movies, right? Sure, oh yeah, a lot of the supporting cast die because that's their purpose and their role, but they're characters before they die. Whereas here it's just, no, we just need bodies to kill them, and there's got to be something at some point. So they'll do. Just throw a person there, and an alien can rip apart a person-shaped meat bag. That's what they are. They're not characters.
How good does the cast of Alien Resurrection look now? You remember those people. You may not remember their names after this long, but you remember the basic characters who are there.
I do.
Remember Ron Perlman? You remember the guy in the wheelchair? Remember the guy who's got the guns up his sleeves? They all have distinct features. They all kind of, they're memorable in some way.
Yeah.
They're characters. And this team are split up almost immediately. As soon as shit really goes down with the aliens and the predators, they almost all of them get killed off immediately. There's no kind of picking them off one by one. Not really. In fact, they set up an entire sort of like tense relationship between the Scottish guy and the foreign guy of some description. I don't know, some European accent. And they set up this tense relationship, and they're kind of stuck together. I thought, okay, this makes sense. You're going to put these two together, and they have to survive together. Maybe they'll bond. Maybe they'll learn to like each other and respect each other. And maybe they'll go for that the aliens sort of moment between Vasquez and Gorman, where they don't like each other, but they kind of go out together in kind of a respectful kind of ending.
Yeah, they come together because of in face of what's happening.
No. Instead, foreign dude gets killed, and that leaves Scottish dude on his own, and you're like, oh crap, because he's just like a little bit behind them in the tunnel at this point, and he's like, oh crap, and I thought, okay, right, so now we're going to have him terrified out of his nuts, and he's going to have to like be terrified as he moves around, because the alien, he just saw someone get killed by an alien, we can milk this. He dies within 10 seconds. There's nothing to it. They both get killed back to back within 10 seconds. Nothing is done with those characters at all.
No, that's true.
Because at least, okay, so the foreign guy was more the badass one, so he get taken out. So the dude that's left, he's going to be panicking, he's going to be scared. We can play with this. How is he going to survive? And he may not survive till the end, but you can buy that. Oh, and I suppose I should technically say he didn't get killed. He get captured because you find him in the goo wall later for impregnation.
Because of course we had to have that at some point as well.
Which is fine to have that because that's what aliens do. But
it is, but it feels here like, oh yeah, oh, that's what aliens do. I guess we should do that. It doesn't feel like there's any purpose to it in this movie, other than, oh yeah, this is a part of the Aliens franchise.
Oh sure, yes, it feels tacked on, yes.
Yeah.
It's
there just because.
I can concur with that, but like it just does nothing with him. I couldn't believe that we see him witness this death. We can use that for his character to make him more interesting, to make him scared that he saw the far more badass guy get taken out that easily, and he just gets taken within seconds as if it's nothing. It's this 1-2 punch, and like it doesn't contribute anything. And then later on, you have the thing where he gets the gun when he's like up against the wall and he shoots down the facehugger, and then he looks out, and he takes a few bullets. He's not really good with the aim because he's never really used a gun before. And then the camera like pulls out and he notices that there's just a room full of facehuggers. And all this scene is telling us is that okay, this is how more aliens are getting made.
Yeah, there's a lot of them here. And
I'm like, okay. But like, we didn't really need to see that. We get that everyone who was killed was probably used for this in some capacity.
Yeah.
I guess I'll give them credit for the idea of making like a nemesis alien, where there's one who gets scarred with the net with the acid, so you can sort of recognize him in the pack. He's always got
I'm with you.
The cross hatching. So there's one that you always know that's that one.
Yeah, it's a nice idea.
It's a nice idea. The movie doesn't really do much with it. It doesn't capitalize on it, but there's an idea.
Yeah. Can we talk about the flashback sequence that was atrocious?
Oh, you mean when, again, going back to my complaint where he's just reading paragraphs and paragraphs of the history of the predators on Earth, and we get this flashback of them fighting thousands of aliens on the pyramids.
Yeah, I'm like, why are we watching this? I mean, if you want to tell me this, not all in one go, if you want to have them discover this story over the course of the movie, I don't think it's the best story either, don't get me wrong, but if that's what the story you're going with, fine. But you can play that as the mystery. You can deliver bits of this throughout, be like, oh, this is what happened, and you can get the payoff as you go to all these little moments. Instead, it's just like, now let's watch a predator take on a couple thousand aliens, get overwhelmed, and just blow everything up.
Yes. Which was what ended the civilization of the day.
Yeah. Just, I'm like, what was the point of that? Why did we watch that?
Well, I mean, you can understand what they thought the point was.
Well, yeah, but in the context of the movie, it doesn't, some of that, it doesn't really add anything other than just here's some information. It doesn't come up.
No, they wanted the shot of all the aliens climbing up the pyramid for the trailer. That is why it exists.
That's it. Yeah,
that's why it exists.
It is, but we all know you can put shots in trailers and not have them in the final movie. I mean, you can now. Maybe you couldn't 15 years ago.
Oh no, you absolutely could. I feel like that one in particular would be complete bullshit. Here's a shot of all these aliens.
Yeah,
thousands of aliens. People remember that was in the trailer and they didn't see it in the movie. Yeah. That would particularly upset them, I think. I mean, admittedly, I think you have to see it in the movie. Like they've got more things to be upset about.
Yeah, bigger fish to fry, right?
Than a missing shot. So I mean, that's a fair point to make. I mean, there's a lot to complain about. But I think ultimately it's a movie that falls into the thoroughly mediocre 2000s spate of just garbage. But it's not the worst thing ever. Again, the second one exists.
Oh, I can't believe I'm gonna have to watch it.
Some of the Resident Evil sequels exist, just compared to his own movies.
I was quite happy to go through life and never watch these movies.
Well, that's tough. It's just you're committing now. You're committed.
Yeah, here I am. They had to make another Predator movie, didn't they?
For context. Well, look at the bright side. When you get to the new one, and if it's really good, and it's Shane Black directing and writing it, so it should probably be quite good. You can appreciate why
I feel
it's
like
so
I'd
good.
have appreciated it either way.
No. 'Cause you have to go through the turmoil. It's like 3%. You have to go through the heartache and the pain and the suffering. It makes you stronger and it makes you appreciate it when you get the better Predator movie.
No. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's what's happening. You're going to have to accept it. Yeah, so it's really bad. But, like, there is worse. It's kind of in this weird place, which I guess we're getting to ratings now as we're talking about this, but it's in this kind of weird, like, it's got that same steely kind of tint that a lot of the mid-2000s, like, shitty movies had.
Yeah.
It looks like one of those movies.
I think the problem is you're saying, it's an average shitty 2000s sci-fi movie, right?
It is, yeah.
And I think the problem is it's average in context of that specific particular set of movies, but they're all below average movies. They're all bad movies.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's average overall.
No, I know. I just want to clarify that just lumping them in with that and go, yeah, it's one of those, doesn't excuse it. Doesn't make it any better.
It doesn't make it any better, but what I'm saying is it's not the worst thing ever either. There is worse. Directly speaking, there's the second one, which is even worse.
Yeah, I know.
What I'm saying is that when we're rating this out of 10, like we're just about to, I think that has to be in there in context. I don't think it deserves, a 1 or a 2. It's not that low. It's far too mediocre and mind-numbingly forgettable to be that low.
Yeah, I know. Immediately, this can't be a 1 because there is at least some level of technical competency.
Yes.
Not in the writing or the direction necessarily, but all the sounds there. I can see what's happening.
Sounds there. The predators look fine. The aliens look fine.
Yeah, the dodgy effects aside at points.
They're just copying the older movies, but I mean that like it means that they didn't mess with it. They could have.
No, that's true.
In fact, here's another thing. Here's another thing. They just cut to the Predator ship in the opening 10 minutes like it's nothing. We've never been inside the Predator ship while it's functioning like that. Well, sure, we're in the Predator ship at the end of 2. Don't get me wrong, but we've never just cut to, oh no, the Predators are on their own ship and they're driving the ship and they're setting up the next thing. Like no, we just cut to it. It's like we're in a Star Trek movie and we cut to the Borg ship or we cut to the Klingon ship. We just cut to the Predator ship. There's no mystery. There's no build up. It's just no. Here it is.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. And then of course the Predator who dies, like defending the human, had a face buster, you know, their face huggers rather, face buster, face hugger. So we end the movie with the tease of the chest burster with the pred alien coming out.
Yeah. And of course the human, she's worthy for the predators now.
She's worthy. She's also left isolated in the snow.
Yeah, yeah. But they were like, "Hey, you did a good job. We'll leave you here now."
I assume that someone from Wayland will come looking for her. Not that I really care, but this is one of those things. I don't even.
I don't give a shit.
She's left stranded there. It's bizarre. Anyway, what are you rating it?
It's like a 3.
Yeah.
Thought about maybe a 2.5, but slightly too much technical competency for that. Slightly.
Yeah, I might inch up to a 3.5.
Unbelievable.
It's just like there's worse. Like for my rating system to work, I have to acknowledge all of the shit that is below this. A1 is stuff like Birdemic. It's stuff like The Bye Bye Man.
Sure.
2 ain't much better. 2 ain't much better. I'm thinking like Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning, perhaps. That may be a 2. You know. And then we're getting into the range here with the 3 with this. Where it's not as painful to get through. You might fall asleep. I know you fell asleep. But I find this much easier to get through in some other films. In particular the second one. So that is AVP. We have 2 left. We've got AVPR and we've got Predators before we get to the new one. The Predator coming later this year.
Tell me Predators isn't as bad as this.
Oh, Predators is night and day better than both these.
I don't hear anyone ever talk about Predators.
I mean, I've not seen it in a long time, so I'm not sure how I feel about it now. It might be not the most memorable thing ever, but it is perfectly serviceable at the least.
Well, that's fine, just because obviously, you know, people talk about these movies, they're bad. Whereas, I don't think I've ever heard anyone go, Predators, yeah, that's good, or that's bad. You know, I don't think I've ever heard anyone just say anything about it.
Yeah, no, we'll get to it. I'm curious to revisit it because it's been such a long time. There's definitely stuff I remember liking about it.
That's cool.
And there's a couple of things I didn't, but you know, we'll see. So you know that has been 121 in Flux. So let us know what you think of Predator or Alien vs Predator specifically in the comments. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. You can go over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv if you want to support us, support the channel and everything we do here. And there's links over there for all the various things we do. Of course, patrons get to vote on a movie once a month. So there's a vote up right now. What is the vote of? I don't have it in front of me.
I have no idea.
Kurosawa. It's all Kurosawa
yes,
films.
Kurosawa. I was going to ask you, what month are they voting for? Because I don't know what month I'm in now, to be honest.
This is June. They're voting for the episode we'll do in July. Of course, we'll be doing the episode for this month at some point.
And they've got another vote that they can do as well at the moment, haven't they?
Oh yes, that's right. Because we crossed a goal, you can go and vote on which Uwe Boll film we'll do next month. So there's 4 Uwe Boll films up for vote as well for patrons. Most of the votes are in the $5 tier because that one's for a goal. All of the patrons $1 and up can vote in that one. So go have a look at that.
I did go and check what won because it was bothering. It was a vote between movies that were high up on our sci-fi countdown list.
Ah, that's right. It was The Thing. Yes.
It was The Thing. Yes. So we'll be doing that next week, which is going to be nice to jump back to a good movie after this, right?
They're a perfect double bill in many ways. They're both in the snow.
That is technically true.
So, you know, it's a thing. We need to get the Alien versus The Thing movie. That needs to happen. I'm
kind of surprised it never did, honestly.
Right holder issues more than anything else, I think.
Yeah.
But no, so check all that stuff out. That is us, though. So thank you once again for watching or listening. I always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, and we'll see you next time.